All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the WeBook It podcast. Let's start the show.
Yo, what's up, WeBook It fam? This is your boy Big Daddy C coming back at you with another episode of Who's Next to NXT, stepping in for Virgil while he's on his sabbatical. We're covering all things related to this week's episode of NXT. We got NXT Heat Wave coming up on August 24th, so that'll be the next PLE. So WWE does have a couple of weeks left to build up on the card. Something that fans will hopefully we get something that fans will want to see and enjoy and remember for months to come. Starting off the show, we had Blake Monroe versus Kelani Jordan. This was a pretty solid match here. Very quick pace and some good physicality, but Jordan Grace would make her appearance, chasing Blake Monroe away after only 6 minutes of action. This would cause Blake Monroe to get counted out, and Kelani Jordan will get the victory. Next up here, we had Hank and Tank versus Chase U with the NXT Tag Team Championships on the line. Connors and Dixon came out there, guns blazing, and almost won right away. But Hank kept kicking out of the moves that they were hitting. While Tank will recover at ringside, the champs will make a comeback after a couple of minutes and regain control. But Connors and Dixon never allowed themselves to be dominated, so they held their own, pretty much kept the match competitive. So this is a short but fast-paced bout, but ultimately Hank and Tank retained by hitting their finisher on Dixon. That's pretty much how that segment ended there. Next up, we had Lexis King versus Myles Borne. King has been trying to prove to Borne, that Borne has been a fraud for weeks. So they finally meet up in the ring for their first singles match against each other. The crowd was pretty much behind Borne from the start, as him and King have been trading blows and takedowns and counters. Let me see here. Borne did have the upper hand, but ultimately Lexi King cut off. He will cut off the dive to the ring with a running knee. So there was a nice little moment there. He gained control going into the break. As we return, King with a stomp. Let's see here. Borne would step on King's hand against the steel steps right when the show came back from commercial. The ref would check on him to make sure he was good, but he determined that he was good. To continue the match. But ultimately, Borne would score the win with his finisher, which is essentially just a zigzag. We know Dolph Ziggler had that when he was in WWE. It was a pretty solid match leading up to the finish. I do believe these two will meet again. Next up, let me see here. There was a promo with DarkState, talking about wanting to be up people's butts. It's kind of it's suspect, but it is what it is. I know they're trying to provide some humor, but nah, we good on that. Next up, we had Thea Hail versus Nia Jax. We know Nia Jax had returned most recently on NXT, attacking Lash Legend. We know they've been having some issues with each other. Thea Hail, this was a squash match pretty much. Thea Hail, she had a few offensive, moves going on, but Nia Jax pretty much got up out of there. So after that, Lash Legend came out there. They started getting into a little fight, but it was broken up by the security. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of that. Next up, we had a promo. Open Femi came out to the ring saying it was going to be his next challenger. Trick Williams comes out there, who we know is the TNA world champion. Trick Williams said, even though he has not, and Open Femi let him know, like, hey, you have not beaten me yet. And Trick Williams like, yeah, you're right. But had to think about something. Why can't be me to defeat you and keep holding it down on two brands and run two brands. And then out comes Javon Evans, to stake his claim for the NXT championship, which Open Femi was like, all right, cool. So we got some new blood, new challenge. I'm all for it. I like to see it, young blood. I like to see it. And then in comes Moose, comes to the ring. Reminds Trick, hey, we gotta fight at TNA Emergence. And say he was going to win the championship from Trick. And he also told Open Femi, like, hey, I ain't forgot what happened at NXT Roadblock. As they kept talking their shit, here comes DarkState, comes out of nowhere and attacks them. But Femi, Moose, Evans, Williams would end up fighting them off. So it looks like we might get us a 8-man tag match. Down the line. We'll see what happens there. There was another segment where everybody was shown giving Jordan Grace a match against Blake Monroe at Heatwave. Lash Legend and Jax were shown backstage, still fighting for a long time after that segment happened. So I don't know what's been going on this week, but it's been a lot of crash outs going on. Everybody been brawling and shit. We saw Sheamus and Rusev going at it damn near all night, man. They was brawling in the backstage and all that shit, man, after that match. And there was another segment, which was my favorite segment of the night. You had Joe Hendry, Charlie Dempsey and I forgot the other chick that was backstage with him. They were talking, and then all of a sudden she started singing Joe Hendry's theme, and then this motherfucker appears out of the refrigerator, bro. I was like, ain't no way. I had to rewind that shit just to make sure I was seeing what I was seeing. I'm like, this man just popped up out of the refrigerator, bro. And the music and everything popped off. I'm like, this is hilarious. I love this dude, man. So Charlie Dempsey wasn't too happy to see that, man, but eventually this set up a match between these two, which will happen next week on NXT. So we'll get Joe Hendry versus Charlie Dempsey. Next up, we got Sags versus Yoshiki in a mirror. It was a pretty good match here. I enjoyed it. A lot of fast-paced, hard-hit maneuvers between these two. And so there was a moment where Inamura threw Stacks across the ring, began unloading on him with chops and punches. But ultimately, Ariana Grace and Josh Briggs had some interference, which helped Stacks get a quick win, making this another match that felt way too short on the episode. So damn near every match that was on this show tonight kind of went very quick. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's producing, but it seemed like they was trying to get through with all. They was trying to make a quick run through, make sure they met the time frames. But yeah, next up we had Tatum Paxley versus Sol Ruca in the main event. Actually, no, before this, we had Ethan Page come out there, was bragging about beating Santino Marella last week to retain the North American Championship. This will bring out Tavion Heights, who interrupted Ethan Page to singing the Canadian national anthem. Basically staking his claim to come out to that championship. And to much surprise, Chelsea Green and the Secret Hervers came out there, and she basically came out there to, get at Tavion for interrupting who she calls one of the greatest Canadians in Ethan Page. And so after that, just a couple of insults here and there. She was showing her support for Ethan Page, and he looked like he wanted to hit her ass, but she was like, "Oh, you're so cute. We know even a trash American like you don't have the balls to hit a lady. And he's like, all right, you're right. And then he just knocks the shit out of Ethan Page. And then it's like, yeah, I can't hit you, but I'm going to find a woman who will. So he's going to find him a woman to have a mixed tag team match against Ethan Page and Chelsea Green. So we'll see who he picks. But yeah, moving on to the main event, we had Ruca defending her NXT Women's North American Championship against Tatum Paxley, who turned on her not too long ago. Turned on her and Zarya, to be exact. And so yeah, Ruca came out the gate strong, but Paxley, would turn the tables and take some control. Zarya tried to get Shawn Spears to stop interfering. We know, I forgot the name of the damn group, but yeah, Shawn Spears, the Culling. They were out there supporting Tatum Paxley. Zarya tried to get them to stop interfering, which led to Ruca taking out everybody with a moonsault from the top rope to the floor. And so this easily was the best match of the night because all the other matches went by quick. But yeah, Ruca fell to the floor when she was trying to attempt a move from the top rope, but she landed fine. Got right back on the top. Paxley hit her with a spinning neck breaker from the top rope. And then all of a sudden you got Nia Jax and Lash Legend still brawling. They come out there to the ring. They brawling the shit. And Lash Legend will spear Nia Jax through the barricade. And while this distraction was taking place, Ruca took advantage and hit the Soul Snatcher on Tatum Paxley for the victory, and she retains her championship. So that's pretty much how this show ended. We also had prior to this, before I end this, we had a sit-down interview with Ricky Starks about his feud with Jasper Troy. So definitely check that out. We know that feud has been happening for a hot minute, so I can't wait to see those two lock it up in the ring. But yeah, so that's pretty much how the main event ended. So Ruca retained her championship against Tatum Paxley. But yeah, like I said, it was a quick show. It seemed like all the matches were running very quick except the main event. So it looks like they put a lot of stock into the main event for the most part. And so yeah, that's been your episode of Who's Next NXT. And so yeah, once again, I am Big Daddy C, stepping in for Virgil in his during his sabbatical. So yeah, stay tuned for next week's episode of Who's Next NXT. Also stay tuned for the rest of the other shows the rest of this week, which I'll be kind of like overseeing. We got the All Elite recap on Thursday. We got SmackDown on Friday. The SmackDown Throwdown on Friday. And then obviously the Sunday show, the main Sunday show that we have. So yeah, stay tuned for all of that. Keep liking, sharing, subscribing to the podcast. Trying to get to 2,000 viewers on YouTube. We appreciate all that you have done to support us this far. So yeah, we getting close to we getting close to 100 episodes on the Sunday pod, y'all. So we got to do something big when that time comes to celebrate that milestone. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, last but not least, keep those booking pencils sharp. Keep on booking. Peace.